Okay, so barefaced today. Let me tell you what happened. First of all, let me just go ahead and acknowledge my skin is still going through it. All right. So today I had an appointment scheduled for 8, which I usually do 10:30 or later, because I tend to be a night owl. Yeah. So I scheduled it for 8 o'clock because I'm still at the point where I don't have my method down to 2 hours yet. Hang on, because I feel like it's loud. My son is out there watching his show. Anyway, so I've been working out of my sister's home, and I have a space in her home. And okay, so this makes me feel vulnerable to reveal it, but I said that I would document my journey. And with me documenting my journey, I have to share. I have to be truthful, I have to be open. Okay. So last night I stayed up because I didn't plan my day yesterday. And I ended up spending too much time between going to Sprint to get my phone taken care of and just running around with my mother and my son. I spent too much time, I spent the bulk of my day doing that, right? So I ended up staying up. I didn't get to bed till like midnight or later. I knew I was going to have to get up at least at 5 in order to, my goal was to practice and to get some makeup on. As you can see, one of those things didn't happen, but I did practice. I drew one brow. So I got up and I got our stuff. Well, I had to call an Uber. That's a whole nother story, you know, with my car or whatever. So I had to call an Uber. The Uber was going to be there in like 13 minutes. And I'm like, how am I going to get all my stuff together, get my son out the door? Makeup was, at that point, like, that's done. That wasn't happening. So I decided, okay, well, I'm just not going to have any makeup on and we just got to go. I'm going to get there in time to prep my area, to prep the studio for her before she gets here. And so I had already, you know, said, well, had I done that at that point? I hadn't done that. I did that in Uber. Said, see you later, you know, see you at our appointment. And I get here, and now this is me learning what the preliminary steps need to be, because I hadn't communicated with my sister that I had an appointment. When I get here, she tells me that there is no water. She hadn't taken the time or whatever to pay the water bill. So, you know, I'm in go mode. I'm in let's do this. I got here on time. I said forget the makeup. I still put on, you know, a dress shirt. I didn't put on a t-shirt, which is preferable for, not because I don't like to dress up, as you know, but because I sweat when I do this, because I get all worked up. Okay. So she says there's no water. And as I'm getting my stuff set up, I'm like, how am I going to wash my hands? How do I know when the people are going to come out here? You don't know. Because they, you know, they take their time, or they have a bunch of people to service. And they give you a range. It's from like, they'll tell you they'll be here between 9 and 2. So you just don't know. So I'm like, I got like 6-7 minutes before our appointment. I need to call her and tell her to stop, go back home, you know. Excuse me. And I'm like, what does this do for my professionalism? Because I'm learning what that means for me right now. I'm learning how to be punctual, to tell you the truth. And before, if there was a question between me doing my makeup or me being on time, makeup won every time. Better to arrive beautiful and late than ugly. That was my motto. But, you know, having my son made me realize that sometimes other things can be more important. And with this being my business and everything being solely dependent on how I carry myself, you know, I'm learning my rhythm as far as that goes. So I get here, there's no water. I don't know when they're gonna get here. I call her and I'm just like, oh my God, this, in my head, I'm like, I don't want this to make me look bad. But I gotta tell her. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna say this without saying it. I'm gonna say this without throwing my sister under the bus and making this look ghetto and, you know, upsetting her. And I call her, she didn't pick up. So I message her and I see that she's reading the messages. So I'm like, okay, well, she's probably driving. And then she calls me back and, you know, I told her I'll take half off the balance for the inconvenience because she's a nurse. She works these long hours and we already had talked about how she's going to be tired. So I'm like, you know, she could have been asleep, but she was so sweet and so understanding and didn't hesitate, you know, to say, no big deal. I'll just go get me some rest. And I told her we'll reschedule at some point this weekend. And she was just so sweet. Like, you know, you can feel it in someone's voice when they're just being nice. And then you can feel it in someone's voice when they're being genuine. And I could feel it, that she really was understanding. And that, in that moment, I exhaled and I almost cried. Like, I didn't know I was so worked up until that moment. Because every day, every appointment, for me, like there's a lot riding on these appointments for me. Every time, and my eyeballs are getting hot. Every time I can feel that, you know, my little girl, my inner child, yes, this thumb missed getting painted last night when I was up. Anyway, I can feel my inner child, her dream is riding on this, whether or not she gets to be who she has always wanted to be. It's the next appointment. Maybe that's a lot, but that's what I have to bring into this in order to conduct myself the way that I want to conduct myself in the future. In order to create the professional that I want to be, I have to do it every single time. So I thought my son was coming in here. So I wanted to share that. That happened today. And now I'm going to get up here and set some more appointments. And it's a good time to do my inventory. And, you know, after the next appointment, or maybe before it, I'll check in. And, you know, let you know how the journey's going. Thanks for being on it with me.